Hola Madridistas, welcome back to another episode of Let's Be Real podcast. We are on the road to 4K, so if you guys are new here, don't forget to smash the likes and subscribe to the channel. We are officially on the road to 4K. If that wasn't clear before, but yeah, man, big up our sponsors as always. Talksport Fan Network. If you guys didn't know, everything on LBR is officially powered by the Talksport Fan Network, the biggest sports radio station in the world. Go show their social some love. Also, this podcast is also sponsored by Fanatics, official partners of La Liga and Real Madrid. Go check them out. Please make sure you use our affiliated link in the description below. Right then, we have Sid in the building. I think for the first time this season. Is it Sid?
Yeah, off the Bernabeu for the first time, I say.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah, man, I think this is a good game to digress, right? This was probably one of our better showings, probably the best showing, I would say. Um, all out attack. I think Levante made it a bit easy for us, to actually make it so entertaining. But we had to be there. We had to, show ourselves to actually, take those chances and be assertive. And I think we did to a large extent. And kudos to Xabi Alonso, man. I think this team is finally starting to give me some confidence, some belief. And the fact that he had basically what seven different lineups in 7 games is a very telling fact. It really goes to show that he is trying to earn the dressing room's trust and basically, yeah, trying to keep everyone on their toes even with the result being straightforward. I thought Rodrigo might get a run in early, a bit earlier on, but he waited until probably the last 10 minutes to bring on the likes of Camavinga, Rodrigo, etc. So yeah, man, meritocracy is the centerpiece here. I think under Xabi Alonso. So
Yeah, I also feel till the time we scored the third goal, it was probably the most difficult opponent we have faced so far.
mhm,
And even in the press conference yesterday, Xabi Alonso said that it's going to be a little difficult. And it was
mhm,
difficult. I think once they scored, the momentum was shifting. It could have been spicier. And that's
mhm.
when Kylian Mbappe was like, nah, it's time. I show who I
Yeah,
am. And it
yeah.
was also the penalty he got was like a replica of the penalty against Osasuna. Tries a
Mhm,
cutback. He
yeah.
knows if he's so fast that, if he gets it right, it's a penalty. Even if he gets it wrong, he has the ball and he could probably have an option to pass. Yeah, with respect to meritocracy, we have seen that, and there was a lot of changes today. Fran Garcia also got a start. Carreras plays as a centre back. Very
Mhm,
happy to see Camavinga back. Very happy to see Jude Bellingham get more and more minutes because the next game is the big derby, and
yeah.
I don't think they have enough minutes in them to start the derby, but
Yeah, I don't think he starts. Mm,
yeah, and it is really good to see Rodrigo. Yeah, was a surprise, but also the substitution in general was a surprise. Where
mm,
it was till now, it would have been Vinny instead of Rodrigo, but it was Kylian Mbappe who went off. And I think for the first 5 minutes, Rodrigo didn't even touch the ball. Then he had a few, like one chance where he tried to dribble, and at the end, he had a pass from last kick of the game was literally like Jude Bellingham passing in. He could have scored, but I don't think. Rodrigo is very high on confidence right now, but it is very good to see that so many players are getting minutes. Even David Alaba
mm,
got minutes.
mhm,
So, and I think the system, what you're talking about, what we see is it's so organized. Last year, we were probably say much better because we were more chaotic and we made the game more end to end. Now there's
mhm,
like a system in place where roles are getting defined. You're not depending on a player like Fede Valverde to do it all. Sometimes I don't even see him in the game because
mhm.
he's just doing what his role asks him to do,
Yeah, yeah.
So still very early days if we see Xabi Alonso as a long-term future. And with respect to memes and everything, this is the 007 everybody wants, 7 victories. And also,
Yeah.
One negative would be this was the first time we conceded a goal in open play. The goal we conceded before was a
Mm.
corner and a penalty. But also these are things you can't control. 7 games without conceding a goal from
Since
open
we
play.
are on it, I might as well talk about the goal we conceded. It was against run of play. I mean, Levante started to build some steam out of themselves right at the beginning of the second half. They came out with a bit more intent. They knew that. I mean, they to Levante's credit, like I'll be very honest, I've seen a few Levante games this season, and they have looked very promising for a side that's newly promoted. They have a blend of inexperience and experienced faces. Even Romero is one such commodity. Like he is full of potential, and he could have almost found the net opening couple of minutes of the game. If you remember that shot that basically he had to take on his right foot, weaker foot, that just glanced past the right hand post of Thibaut. If that went in, who knows, right? I mean, then the open header, basically
Yeah.
Hausen getting pulled out, and like I forgot who it was. I think it was Adela Fuente who had an open header at goal, but Levante had the chances, so they knew if they turn the screw in a bit more, we would give up some chances, and this happened, man. Like Carreras got pulled out. He went for the tackle, and he completely lost his man, and then they were on the break. Hausen gets tied to his man, and it's basically Asensio having to mark the back post, and a couple of guys. Commentators were screaming, "Yeah, he should have done better." For me, I think, yeah, probably he could block the run of Young. He could maybe be a bit more, authoritative, commanding his back post and the 6-yard box. But I do think that the way we collapse in situations like this, where when it looks fretty, I've said this before, it looks fretty when we have so much control dominance. We are so um, keen on winning the ball, high up the pitch, and taking the game to our position. But when it breaks, we tend to look a bit silly, and this was one of those plays, in my opinion. Thibaut, completely caught flat-footed. He's what towering 6'7", but even he was kind of lacking, in that back post cross. But yeah, man, I felt like it was a complete defensive collapse. Can we really blame Asensio alone for that's it?
No, I think like the way the ball was passed and the cross came in, Carreras
Mm-hmm.
could have done better. And it's basically like it was where like the whole defensive unit one by one individually could have done better, but you
Mm-hmm.
concede goals like that.
Yeah.
It's not something like, you can be perfect. And also
Mm.
it's this early in a season where a new manager so far doesn't even know what's his best center back pairing right now. So
Yeah.
Carreras was playing out of position, Fran Garcia left back, and then
Only had
it's
24 minutes so far this season. It's his first start for Fran Garcia. I think he did well as well.
yeah, yeah.
Mm.
So and also like in a way, Asensio playing right back. So you just that it's not like you can blame somebody. It's also not
Mm-hmm.
somebody's fault. Like as a unit, you had a bad moment, and it was a really bad
Mm-hmm.
goal to concede, and you could see it on Thibaut Courtois' face.
Yeah.
Because there's also some luck to play. It did help
100%.
Levante, and yeah, it was just a bad moment. But what really made the difference was that usually, like when you realize that the game could have opened up,
Mm-hmm.
Kylian Mbappe was like he was not having the best game till then. I don't even think he had a good game, to be honest. Like it's just 2 goals.
Yeah.
But but he basically, there's one Spanish journalist by the name of Rodra. He used to work for Relevo. Now he works for ESPN. He puts in
Mm-hmm.
a story that like in the spiciest moment, Kylian Mbappe turned up, and just changed the tide, and that is what the mindset shift we really wanted to see, like because last season because the game was so open under Carlo Ancelotti.
Yeah.
under Carlo Ancelotti's management that, even
Mm,
when we conceded at a time, it took us a lot of time to get back in the game.
mhm.
So defensively, the lapse did happen, and uh, and then the
You think
team
it's a
just put
one-off? My
yeah.
my my question is, right, like I've asked this to many people, and this is not me again being negative, right? Like we should give this team time, and I've been very vocal in saying that there is still way too many fundamentals that this team needs to iron out before we get to the February March phase of the season. But this is one of those areas for me. You rightly pointed out, Carlo Ancelotti, he relies on chaos and he sets back, and it basically invites pressure, and we look very very open when we are in defensive transition. But for me, Xabi Alonso, yes, he limits that, and that's huge credit to his system, huge credit to his philosophy that we gain most of our best chances from really pinning oppositions, in their own half, and then really, basically negating anything for Housen and Carreras to do apart from, being ball playing centre backs, and really helping out guys like Vinny. But when it breaks down, it's that chance is so lethal that, like we saw against Marseille, who basically guys like, yeah, like we know these guys can ball, but we are going to go toe to toe with them. What do we do against sides like those? That's why I think Saturday presents, one of the biggest tests of Xabi Alonso's entire managerial career away at the Metropolitano. Although, we know Atleti, you have seen Atleti many times this season already. They are not at their best, but against top sides, say, that's where I don't feel as confident. The way we are
So,
playing right now, it might not really work, you know.
so I think, obviously it's Xavi Alonso's approach so far is that he is giving minutes to everybody to
Mm-hmm,
understand and let them know what he needs.
mm-hmm,
After giving minutes, he is gonna conclude and say, now this is my preference. Yesterday in the press conference, he was asked, who are your favorite attackers in the team? And he
mm-hmm,
said, if I give this answer, this is controversy. I as a
mm-hmm,
coach cannot, but it's evident who they are. It's Mastantuono, Mbappe, and Guler. You can see it.
mm-hmm.
Like defensively, also, I think somebody could ask him a question and he would answer that in the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Like Raul Asensio coming back was also in general a shock for me, like because after the
Yeah.
Club World Cup, he has been very hell-bent. But
Mm-hmm,
as a manager, so far, very less to criticize because of the results. There is
mm-hmm.
a better, and the second point is there is a more systemized, organized style of play which is visible. He's giving minutes to everybody. Once he knows what his starting 11 is, I think then it's gonna come in. And last year, the big difference in La Liga, the big difference was Barcelona. If we win one of the games against Barcelona, we win La Liga. So it's not like we have to cut the gap way too much. I think when we were
No, but
speaking
you
to
are not answering
Alex,
my question, though. My question was, is this style sustainable? Like, we are going to still concede big chances against the top sides. How do you think we'll cope?
yeah, this is
Was
what
my
like
question.
this is what yeah, this is what I'm coming to. Like the big
Okay.
sides, the difference
Mm-hmm,
has to be against Barcelona, and say if you want to count Atleti,
mm-hmm.
and
But in
I think
Europe
the
as
team,
well.
yeah, I think the team can
Mm-hmm,
because see what one thing which is very say evidence so far that the spine of the team is basically Thibaut Courtois, Carreras, Huijsen, Fede, Chouameni, and Kylian Mbappe. The rest are the
mm-hmm,
moving pieces. And games are gonna be there like say every 3 days. So I think in against big teams they can do it, and they have to show it that they can do it against Atleti. Until
mm-hmm,
unless you have that test, you can't say. And I think the team has it in them. I think it was today if the centre back pairing is say Rudiger and Hodgson, I don't think we concede that goal.
mm-hmm,
Or say if it's Eder Militao and Hodgson also, I don't see conceding. So there's a lack of experience also because the center left back is playing as a center back. But I think the
mm-hmm,
team has it in them, and we have seen that with Bayer Leverkusen, where Xavi Alonso can have a defensive stability. It's not
mm-hmm,
always about fluid football with wing backs going up and then like the wingers getting the support and the center forward running through and getting the. He had defensive stability. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why he went on to win the league unbeaten. You can't do that when like because Bayern Leverkusen was not the best team in Bundesliga, probably top five with respect to the squad they had.
Mm-hmm.
It was the coach who made the difference. So I don't, and I think there will be reasons why the best coach in the history of Real Madrid was replaced by Florentino Perez and his team. Huni Khalafat, who follows us on Instagram, just showing it off here. But um, to select Xabi Alonso, where because there is an expectation, and it's not only about say winning and scoring and unleashing your center forward. It's about a defensive stability and a setup. And I think in big games we'll see that once he
I
knows his
really
starting
hope so.
lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, once he like because I remember, I think the conversation will be out, and when I was speaking to Sitlo, actually he said this. I say this because I was listening to commentary. I said then there's another commentator, Phil Kitromi. They were the one commentating on the game today, and I was listening to the stream, and it's basically he brought up the conversation we had where he said Carlo Ancelotti's team was so chaotic,
Mm-hmm.
that it was fun. But
Mm.
now Real Madrid don't look fun because everything they know what they have to do to win. So
Yeah,
that's a and I think defensively also you could like it's the first goal we conceded from open play in La Liga.
for sure,
So
for sure. Mm.
yeah, so I think and Levante is not an easy team like we said, it
Mm.
was one thing we know about Xabi Alonso in his very say short coaching career, he you in through his press conferences, how he's reading the team,
Mm.
the selection of words, especially if you speak Spanish, like me being like a very basic speaker, I can understand he could have said this, but he's
Mm-hmm.
exactly saying a stronger word because he knows what's
Mm.
coming,
Mm-hmm.
and I think hopefully we all like, I wish we see that, but I can see signs and hints that we can do that against big teams.
Mm. Well, here's to hoping that we can see. These are my only reservations. I'll be honest. Apart from the fact that like we tend to look a bit sterile. I think the whole point of Xabi Alonso's system is to make it sterile, and it is to make it kind of cut and dry, and make sure people have defined roles. But this thing, that we saw tonight, I think was a complete. Was a complete stark contrast to what we have seen from Xabi Alonso. I think Levante basically made it that way, but I think we played some scintillating stuff, especially our front three.
Mm.
Uh, you know, paired with Ceballos, I think who looked exceptional today. We need guys like him. People always question, why do we need Ceballos? We need Ceballos in games like this when we need to rest some of our key players. He
You
steps
know,
in, doesn't break a sweat. Go on.
you mentioned Dani Ceballos, and there's a very
Mm.
weird debate where Sid and Phil were talking while they were commentating, and the only midfielder right now who looks
Yeah.
out of place is Fede Valverde. Actually, there is no
Mm.
way we drop Fede Valverde,
Yeah.
but if Dani Ceballos consistently puts in what he did today, right,
Hmm.
with Chouameni, I think it's a very contrasting thing to say. When Fede
Yeah.
Valverde, where does he go?
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
God is hinting, God is like, oh, Dani Carvajal, red card, Trent Alexander-Arnold injured, Fede go
Yeah.
back at right back. But
Right back here.
it's
Yeah.
but like what Dani Ceballos did today, and I think we spoke about this a year back. What he does
Hmm.
literally is a sense of calmness that comes in with his passing and the way he
Hmm.
moves the ball diagonally forward. I'm not saying side to side, rather more
Yeah.
than progressing it forward. And you give him the ball, he looks around, takes his half a second, and he knows where to pass. And this is exactly what Tony Kroos used to do, probably like a fraction of a second faster. And
Hmm.
knowing Xabi Alonso, what he expects, and he's a Spanish coach, coached by probably like the best coaches in world football in the last 20 years. I think in his midfield, he would prefer a player like that who could pass the ball. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the one reason why he was very hell bent that, like Dani Ceballos should not leave Real Madrid, even though he was so close to leaving Real Madrid at the last week of the transfer window.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
remember that. Yeah.
one thing which really I like so far, apart from say Kylian Mbappe and Carreras and Hodgson and Chouameni, is literally you have no clue. Like Fede also because he's playing and Fede is of a different breed altogether, but there's so much uncertainty.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna like obviously Mastantuono got his opportunities. Now when Jude is back, now we
Yeah.
see if he's gonna play or not. But there's so much
Mm-hmm.
uncertainty that is making me so excited to watch the games. I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
what now? What's next? The
Mm-hmm.
whole Vinny versus Rodrigo, and today suddenly he flips the chapter and Kylian Mbappe is off. And probably like a coach like Carlo would have let him there to score a hat trick. But if he can, but Xabi Alonso, if he can save, say, 30 minutes of Kylian Mbappe or 20 minutes of Kylian Mbappe to rest him, I think he's going to do that. And it's very, very nice to see. Very, very nice
Mm.
to see.
It, it's a healthy change for sure. It is something that people really wanted implemented, right? I mean, we had such a shrewd, at times sickening system of hierarchy within the dressing room where certain people were untouchable, certain people were, basically, yeah, devoid of criticism, devoid of, any real pressure. Now it almost seems like no one is safe, apart from maybe like Thibaut, Mbappe, to an extent Goaler, but even like you said, with Jude coming back completely changes the equation. It shakes it up. It shakes it up, right away. Mastantuono and Goaler really, really needs to, yeah, step it up and then, chip in with the goals because the only thing they have lacked so far are goals. I mean, Goaler scored a couple, but Mastantuono, big up, Mastantuono, man. I mean, the confidence, the flair, the daring, attitude with which he has, took the pitch all throughout his 6 games. I think he has featured in every single game, right? Like even though he didn't start
Yeah.
every single game, I think he featured in every game. That just goes to show the trust this manager has on Mastantuono, and I think he's going to pay dividends when the season, especially with the way our right wing has looked. I've been pretty vocal about not really considering Mastantuono as a right winger because he's not a right winger. He doesn't have the pace, not really the wing playing traits that I see in traditional wingers to actually ply his trade there long term. I think he's more of an interior player. Probably he can play deeper as well. Probably a roaming 10, but not really a winger. Just like Arda Güler, he's kind of a similar, maybe more bit more defensively sound, but he's not a winger. But the way he has taken to his newfound um, role and trust from his manager said, I think it is truly inspiring. I think people are really really paying attention to what Macedono does every time he takes a touch on the ball.
100%. I completely agree with you. But also, if you see, he's like an Iniesta kind of a player from the right.
Mm-hmm.
He might not have the pace, but he has the ability to play on the wings because so far we have seen that. And today when he scored, there's such a sense of relief that I could see on Xabi Alonso's face when the way the
Mm-hmm.
reaction came in. And
Mm-hmm.
even the Real Madrid players who were warming up because Mastantuono so far did everything apart from a goal, apart from scoring a goal.
Yeah.
And today when he scored, uh, you could see that how delighted he was. But because that first goal was very important, and now he is a player that when we do fan camps, we're talking about there's been what 3 home games so far for him, 4 home games so far, and people are getting very excited to see Mastantuono because there
Mm-hmm.
was no expectation.
Yeah.
And when a player like that who's ready to just dribble or just cut in and suddenly change directions, dribble between two players, carve a pass, break lines, so young, that kind of player, it's like Winnie in the early ages where,
Yeah.
you're watching him so that he's getting you like excited from your seat. You're like, what's next? What's next? And you're just like
Mm-hmm.
in that And that's the excitement what Mastantuono brings in. And it's a really, really, really great signing. And I have thanked Huni Khalafat 3 times for Mastantuono so far. I am
Mm,
very curious to, see what's next for him when, say, when Jude comes in, because today Arda Güler played centrally, and then when Jude came in, he went to the right.
yeah.
And also Arda Güler looks super, super confident, comfortable
Hmm.
under Xavi Alonso. And uh, I have to give him credits, because last season we begged so much from Carlo Ancelotti to see more of Güler. Now Güler looks really good, scoring goals, assisting, and Xabi Alonso was also very keen on signing Mastantuono, and you can see why. So, like in the one of the fan cams when we are speaking, with the video is out, where the guy from Saudi Arabia, he said, Xabi Alonso is there, hoping he's there for the next 5 years. Mastantuono is gonna be there probably for the next 10.
Mm,
And if he
yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
do well, he's an Argentinian, so he can just move to Atleti the way they sign players. So
I don't know about our players moving to Atleti. It has never happened, right? In the last 20 years, I don't think. I mean, apart from
Ma-
Marcus Llorente, who is an exception to an exception. I don't think we really do business, but I can see, if he really doesn't have a role, I do fear for players like him. I'll be very honest. I mean, Sid was, Sid do has a point. I mean, when he mentions Mastantuono can definitely play on the wing, but I've seen football enough, man. Mastantuono is not a winger, so he'll have to really, like guys like Guler, guys like Mastantuono. I think Mastantuono has more of a midfield presence, so I'm not that worried about him. But you never know with the talent that we have at our disposal. With Germany looking in fine fiddle, Fede again. You kind of scared me a bit earlier. He kind of do look out of place, so we never know. What is in store for him. We
he
we
doesn't look,
definitely.
no.
Mm,
No, the thing is,
mm,
he doesn't look out of place for once.
mm.
He is at his place, and we can't see
No,
him.
no. In the sense that, see, Fede is. Let's be honest. His passing range, his involvement in possession isn't his strongest forte. I mean, we have to accept that. I know we all love Fede equally. Like, he is our godson, right? Like, we can't really say, yeah, Fede doesn't really have a part to play in this side. But the honest truth is, if people have eyes, and I'm pretty sure they do, we can sugarcoat it by saying, yeah, like his involvement is curtailed by the fact that he doesn't have to really run up and down the pitch. But I do think it is more down to the fact that he doesn't really have it in him to really be that player, to be expressive in the possession, really, really strictly possession oriented side. um his strength completely lies in his dynamism on and off the ball. And if a space opens up at right back, who knows?
No, that's true, man. No, I have always understood that, um, there are two kinds of players. One who really enjoy the ball and like keeping it, and then the other people who are very like impactful with the ball. They don't have to
Yeah.
keep the ball. You just, and I think Fede is of the second kind.
Fed is a more
And
direct
yeah,
player.
yeah. And this is why the whole. Say, for example, if we had a Tony Kroos right now, I don't think
Mm,
Fede Valverde starts.
yeah,
It has to
yeah.
be Chouameni, and so this is why it is gonna get super interesting, and it's a huge challenge for Xabi Alonso ahead, because so far he did it really well with Vinny and Rodrigo, and suddenly you see Vinny coming out and performing, and today he had a goal. I think he scored a goal which only Vinicius could score, and then he had an assist, and he looked I think he is the best player after Kylian Mbappe in the team with respect to, like impacting the game. Like even from the bench when he's come on, he's impacted. But I want to see if, say, Ceballos puts in the direct performance, like consistently puts in the performances, given that we are seeing Xabi Alonso is giving minutes to every player. There will be a
Mhm.
time where, he might have to make that call in midfield. He will have to make that call with right wing also, because he has given a lot of minutes to Brahim also. So the Raheem Guler, and then so the fact that nobody is untouchable. Till
Yeah,
when? Till when
yeah,
is the
yeah, yeah.
question? Because you
Mm,
are gonna break hearts. You will be making decisions which is gonna piss off a lot of players.
mm-hmm.
And will that impact the dynamics of the team? And will Xabi Alonso handle that? Is what we have to see.
Yeah. I mean, so far he has managed to, spark a reaction out of guys like Vinicius, who really looks like, he has a point to prove and has a chip on his shoulder. I don't think we have to really push the conversation that far for Fede, but you never know, man. When the Champions League knockouts come around, and hopefully we do make it, we'll be looking at a much clearer picture than we have right now, because right now it's still early days, like he himself said in the press conference a few minutes ago. We can't really go off what we see right now and make a conclusive decision, but yeah, Fede do look like he might be better utilized elsewhere than in the sort of pivot he's kind of deployed under right now. But yeah, we were kind of talking about Mastantuono and how he'll adapt, and what his role would be in the future and whatnot. I think me myself, we might be getting a bit too ahead. We have to enjoy this kid who is what 18, is ready to show what he's about, and I'm really happy, really really happy. It was a statement signing from our side, and it looks like he has a lot to contribute. Similar to, like we mentioned, Goaler, the assist to Mbappe. I mean, how many players can really pick out that pass without even looking? That was just instinctive on the plate. I mean, if Mbappe missed a chance, it's an XG 1.0 chance. It was that
Yeah.
good.
And I think
Um, go on, go on.
Arda Güler, if Carlo Ancelotti probably used him or integrated him better last season from the first part of the season, right?
Yeah.
Things would have been very different. But
Hmm.
I also feel that maybe a coach like Carlo Ancelotti is good with young players. He doesn't need. He has
Mm-hmm.
shown it with say Vinny Rodrigo recently, Fede.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think the player was not ready, and now because things are new, sometimes like when things are recurring in your mind and you're like, Carlo thinks that, I'm not good enough, I'm young
Mm-hmm.
enough, I'm not adaptive enough. And suddenly it's Xabi Alonso, and you're like, oh, the old chapter is turned. This is
Mm-hmm.
new year, new me kind of a vibe. And we knew that Xabi Alonso was very keen on Arda Güler. There were reports way before he was signed as the
Yeah.
manager that he wants him in the team. There is no just all talks of loan and whatever was gone out. And
I
like because
completely
this,
understand what you're saying, Sid, but I do think the Carlos system doesn't really have enough protection to cover a guy like Arda Güler in midfield. I think Xabi Alonso's system really, really masks a lot of what Arda Güler can't do. And like I said this probably, I think, for the season preview, and even on the in the first match day, people were getting really, really excited by Arda Güler, rightfully so. I mean, he is just so inventive on the ball. He just looks like, yeah, he can unlock any door, when he's on song. But um, in the big games against top sides, what he lacks defensively, and I still stick to this, will get him found out, a couple of times. And how costly will that be? How can we really, overcome that? It remains to be seen. So that's my only, reservation regarding what Arda Güler
yeah.
brings to the side.
No,
So yeah.
I
Mm,
completely agree with you. Like if you
mm,
see on the flip side, that's the case. And
mm.
And I think this is why Jude Bellingham is going to be a starter. I think we saw that in the Club World Cup also, where he played every
Yeah.
game because Jude gives you defensively much more than probably Mastantuono and Guler.
Hmm.
And this is why things are going to get very interesting. There's also Kamavinga. It's a I think, but say if Guler is, like not getting starts also, I
Hmm.
think Xabi Alonso is going to show so much faith in him where we are, say, chasing a game, we are down or
Yeah.
something, and we need creativity or more flair. I don't think he will shy away from trusting him, which
Mm-hmm.
was missing under Carlo Ancelotti.
Mm-hmm. 100%, 100%. I mean, it's really good. It's almost like after 16, 17, I think this is a side that has two proper teams. I mean, one team can't be really good like like the A team, but you know the B. I think a B team is within a shout to actually really carry a bit of the workload going into the season because if you have guys like Brahim on the bench, Kamavinga on the bench, who knows, Rodrigo on the bench. Um, when we see signs of shoulders dropping, poor attitude, but you bring them in. We can really, I think, argue to any top side in Europe, claiming the fact that we have a proper bench that people would really fear now, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy, and um, I still remember the feeling I had going into games in 16, 17. I mean, it was largely aided by Nodal Hai Cristiano and the sort of magic we had in that season, but it was also due to the fact that if things are not going wrong, we have Hamas on the bench, we have Isco on the bench. If Isco isn't starting, that is, we have Morata on the bench, we
Morata,
have
big
Danilo on
Morata,
the bench, we have Pepe
Kovacic,
on the
Matthew,
bench, Kovacic
Matthew
on the bench.
Kovacic.
One of my favorite players, Mateo Kovacic. So yeah, man, we need that kind of depth to really go into what 3-4 competitions that we need to really focus on. But yeah, I think it's time we talk about Vinicius. Man, Sid. People
Yeah.
say Xabi Alonso could have dealt with Vinicius's whole you know benching, starting, not showing tough love kind of thing. He could have maybe made it a bit less public. People are saying, oh, they had public arguments on the touchline during the water break. They weren't really seeing eye to eye, even when fans were watching. Did Xabi Alonso really need to be that strong with them? But I do think this has really lit up a fire inside Vinny that we are, I think, happily reaping the rewards of.
Man, I think uh, Vinicius Junior was, like going through a bad patch of form,
Hmm.
which extended over, say, months
Yeah.
for the first time in his career. And that
Hmm.
impacted the results.
Yeah.
And I think Xabi Alonso, when he came in, he made a few things very clear. Kylian Mbappe is my main man.
Hmm.
He was day one, he was like, Kylian Mbappe is the main guy. You could see he's taking penalties, he's the main man. Vinny, Vinny has the ability to be a kingmaker and be the king. We saw it in the
Hmm.
two Champions Leagues he has won. So
Yeah.
there were reports that came out which said he's ready to be the kingmaker again for Kylian Mbappe if Xabi Alonso wants him to. But
Hmm.
but the thing is, Xabi Alonso had to show him that, that I am the boss. Like you
Hmm.
can't take me for granted. And I
Yeah.
think the way
Yeah.
he handled it, I think when was the last time, apart from Mariano and Eden Hazard, a Real Madrid number 7 was on the bench consistently or getting
Hmm.
rotated?
Yeah. Yeah.
So a big manager with more cojones has to make decisions like that. And I
Hmm.
back Xabi Alonso because the first thing is you back the manager. He's the guy who has to decide. Second, the results show. You can see
Hmm.
and the thing is, uh, he is obviously when it's Vinny, he's also like, man, he's a Hollywood player, he's a Rolls Royce
Hmm.
player. So the
Hmm.
media will talk about it. Do you
Hmm.
think Real Madrid number 7 would want to be benched? No, he's a Ballon d'Or candidate, man. Like last
Yeah.
season, probably should have won it. And he's that player. You can't suddenly bench him. Now, what I really want to see is he going to bench him against Atleti if the rotation policy continues? Because
No,
what
no,
he
I don't
did,
think so.
yeah, exactly. So now I think now it starts with rotation. Now, in a way, it
Hmm.
will get confirmed that he has to start. And
Hmm.
but the fire, you had to do something to put in that spark that would create that fire. And probably
Hmm.
He did it privately, he did it publicly, he didn't shy away from talking about it in the media. And you could see it in the performance of Vinicius Junior. Man, today Vinicius Junior, the goal he scored. He said this to Real Madrid TV, where I'm reading the quotes right now, that Modric
Yeah.
taught me to score a goal like that. But it was more like, very less people have been so good with the output, out of their foot, what we call the trivela in Spain.
Yeah.
And Vinny has, like, there were so many times we saw last season the way he was passing like this with his outside of the foot to Kylian Mbappe. And this goal he scored was, it's out of this world. And the assist also, where the way he was cutting in, I think if this was last season, Vinny, he would have cut in and then suddenly went wide again.
Hmm.
This time he looked around, and then he looked more involved. He had more intention. And the impact you could see. He had impact when he came on from the bench also, and the
Since
games
you
he
mentioned the
started.
since you mentioned the assist, like I'll just add something that people might miss. Um, Vinicius basically had the long ball in his locker for a long time. I mean, he basically the first time I remember really getting thrilled by what Vinicius could do. Um, Being the provider was the fact that he could just ping long balls at will, and then it became Trevellas, and then it became his nose for basically, yeah, knowing exactly what an attacker wants. I mean, if you pay close attention to the assist that he got from Mastantuono, the ball swerves into him. A pretty average player, or a player that doesn't really have the intelligence a guy like Vinicius has, would basically not apply the swerve and play the ball into space. That basically means Franco Macedono has to catch up, has to run all the way, and by the time he gets probably where the ball has, been placed at, he has to basically make a whole lot of decisions in quick succession. Probably, he might get closed down, he might scuff the shot, or he might have too much time to think when he's racing towards the ball, right? But since Vinny's pass was served into Mastantuano's path, he had so much time to make the decision. I mean, you could see Mbappe is basically screaming at the back post, I'm here, cross it, cut it back. Basically, that means Macedono had like 4, 5 touches before he could make the decision. Should I lay it off? Should I go near post on my weak foot? I'm weak foot. So this just goes to show, man. I mean, Vinicius is a player, whose excellence is
Yeah,
bar none, man. He is just amazing. He is
and
the talisman we need. I mean, people would forget so quickly what he has done for this club over the last 2 years.
yeah, memory in football is really, really short,
Yeah,
like
it's
people
it's
say.
yeah, it's a fickle sport. I mean, the fans are super fickle. They forget fortnightly. I feel like if
Yeah,
in 2 weeks in succession one player doesn't really perform, you're written off. So um, I
but
know so
also,
many people personally said that really want Vinicius sold. They don't like his attitude. They feel like he
eh,
drags this team down. They feel like
man,
Mbappe's here. Why do we need Vinny? Yeah.
you might not like Vinicius Junior's attitude, his antics, and
Hmm.
but with the ball as a player, tell me one player who can do what he does. I
Yeah.
don't think
Yeah.
Kylian Mbappe can dribble the way Vinicius Junior does. I don't think Kylian Mbappe passes the way Vinicius Junior does.
No, he can't. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
maybe, yeah, and Vinicius doesn't finish goals like Kylian Mbappe does. But,
Hmm.
like, this is why the whole two best players in the world combining together to become that
Hmm.
unit, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is what the challenge has been. Was for Carlo, will be for Xavi Alonso. But
Hmm.
Vinicius Junior as a player, it's like like if Vinicius Junior just had a smile, and he just kept on playing like that, you know, probably people would worship him, But this is what
PR
makes
really matters, right? In 2025, it really matters. It really skews
no,
people's perception of you.
Yeah, PR, and also I don't know about how you look at it, but there are so many people who just love athletes who don't react. Me as a person, when I work hard so much for something and things don't go
Yeah,
well, I am a
yeah.
reactive. Do you think Cristiano Ronaldo was smiling to win five
He was
Ballon
throwing
d'Ors?
tantrums every match day. I mean,
Yes,
it's
but he
yeah,
had the balls to it. Like, do you really think,
yeah,
like the question is, hasn't Vinicius Junior earned
yeah.
those tantrums? He scored twice in the Champions League final, for God's sake. Like, he scored
Yeah.
a hat trick against Barcelona. He's done things Cristiano hasn't done for Real Madrid. So like I said, football player, he has earned it. The only thing is, and he's also young. He's not a
Hmm.
30-year-old we're talking about. If Lamine Yamal does it, oh, he's a teenager. That's the PR. If Vinicius Junior does it,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So PR swings both ways. But as a football player, do you really like as a football player, people who doubt Vinicius Junior, like I just sometimes understand. I don't think they get football. People have bad games, bad times.
Hmm.
But as a football player, it's very surprising to see when people doubt people. Fans doubt players of the caliber of Vinny Jr. I think every majority of the club in world football right now, if they
Hmm.
given an option, they would take Vinicius Jr. Tell me one
Hmm.
football club that doesn't take Vinicius Jr. I take like probably Barcelona takes Vinicius Jr. over Rafinha also. Bayern Munich take
Yeah.
Vinicius Jr. over Luis Diaz or whatever left wing they have.
Police, yeah. I mean, yeah.
Eh,
It's
though-
without a doubt. He walks into every top side. I mean,
Yeah,
Vinicius walks
so
into any top side. That's why it's super dangerous what we are actually dealing with. It seems like his demeanor, whenever he kisses the badge and whatnot, I think whatever is happening behind the scenes is positive, and there is signs that we are going to reach an agreement, with Vinny to extend his contract beyond 2027. But yeah, the later we leave it for it's not really good, is it? But yeah, man, Vinicius is super super happy about his performance. I just hope that he keeps it up. There'll be sterner tests around the corner. Liverpool, line weight, Juve, Barcelona, El Derby next week. These are games we really need Vinicius to step up. And yeah, man, I mean, if you see how well Vinicius worked with Mbappe today, like even fair play to Mbappe as well. Like both these guys, they just know how to make space for each other. I do think, but it's much more trickier when it's against very dogged, deep lying low block sides who just want to keep us out of their box. It's much more difficult there. They don't have Vinicius and Mbappe really don't have the positional flexibility or dynamism to really do that. When Levante offered space, we saw Mbappe down the right, Vinicius playing centrally, Vinicius down the right, Mbappe won the pen on the right. So what we really need is these guys to develop a bit more uh, positionally. I do feel like these are really strong words coming from a fan, but I do feel like when it's 10 players, forming a wall and basically asking us to break them down, Vinicius and Mbappe fall back to
and
what they know best, and become a bit too rigid. But apart from that, they really know how to complement each other, I feel like, you know.
yeah, and I think, yeah, and there has been a say spiking bromance also. They were hugging each other before the
Mhm,
game, and the way
mhm,
Vinny was celebrating with Mbappe, and then Mbappe was celebrating with Vinny scored. And also yeah, there's also angles of PR there also. You might never know, but uh, so far the spark that Xabi Alonso started that
mhm,
led to a fire has we have seen a change. There is a Vinicius who looks different. And probably if that was needed, then why not? Like big managers have, I think Jose Mourinho said this, right? If you're a big manager, you need to know how to handle big egos.
mhm. Yeah, yeah,
So yeah, if Xabi Alonso has to, and Xabi Alonso is not managing Samuel Lino and whatnot.
yeah,
He's
yeah, yeah,
managing, yeah, he's managing probably like two of the top five best players in the world. So It's probably three of the top fives, probably four I can go ahead, but like say five of the top 11, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not easy. And managing egos. See, people say Sir Alex Ferguson tactically wasn't that fluid, and but his man management, ego management, is what made him great. There are so many examples of that. There are so many coach Carlo Ancelotti, for an example. He knew how to manage egos. Jose Mourinho, he knew how to manage egos. There is a story, right, where um, I think it was who was I think an ex-Real Madrid player who was telling a story where Karim Benzema in his early days, he was a come on, he was a party animal. Everybody knew it,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
he was
Yeah.
not every he didn't was not having the best games. The moment he used to get starts, he was
Mm-hmm.
competing with Gonzalo Higuain for that spot under Mourinho.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And to get the best out of Karim Benzema so that he presses well, runs, combine. If Benzema misses a shot in the first 2, 3 minutes, by the
Mm-hmm.
fifth minute mark, Mourinho would send out Higuain to warm
To warm
up.
up. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
so come on, see whatever it takes, right? If a
Mm-hmm.
manager can get the best out of you by not talking to you and you're winning match, till the time you're winning matches, everything is fine. That's football. It was fine for Carlo Ancelotti. It is fine so far for Xabi Alonso. The moment results go wrong, that's when the
Yeah.
questions get more. So we hope that we don't reach that level. We will lose
Mm-hmm.
games. Real Madrid will lose games. There will be bad days. How they make a comeback is what is going to define Xabi Alonso's reign here.
100%. 100%. Since we are on it, Mbappe's performance, quick thoughts, said, scored, I
Man,
think, in every game bar one this season so far. Brilliant pen, brilliant goal in open play as well, rounding the keeper.
mm,
Not his best
brilliant,
overall performance, right? So,
brilliant, man. I have a see. The thing is, this is the thing about strikers. Don't have good games and you score two
yeah,
goals,
yeah,
you're
yeah. You
done.
put the ball in the back of the net, it's a good day. Yeah,
No,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, just don't. I'm not a huge fan of his hairstyle. I like the previous hairstyle more. Makes him look more like a rapper who is trying to grow hair. I don't know, just but, but yeah, man. So far, so good. So I think, yeah, in the Club World Cup, he had a stomach infection that made him lose a lot of weight. We all of, and that led to him losing more weight. If I am right about the conversations I've heard from people outside the Bernabeu and in the club. Because of his health issues, he lost 2 or 3 kilos, and in the end, he's lost say 5, 6 kilos down, which has made him
Hmm.
more faster, I feel, and
Hmm.
that has given him a little more of acceleration, which is needed for a center forward. So this
And a
is why
lack of
he's
preseason last year compared to a full preseason this year.
yeah,
So
yeah, and man, he looks. I think also everybody knows football players have egos, right? All of us know. And if a French man who pressed in a Champions League final really well and won the Champions League, and if that is the difference,
hmm
we all know Kylian Mbappe wants to win the Ballon d'Or. I
yeah.
think there is a video against I think Osasuna or Espanyol where like he's telling Mastantuono with his eyes the keeper is not comfortable. We press more. Come on,
Hmm.
Kylian Mbappe is a Rolls-Royce player who has the luxury of not pressing. He is pressing. We can see the difference. You know, there is a stat that I was reading. Real Madrid are recovering the ball 30 or 40 yards higher this season than what they were doing last season.
Yeah.
So there is a
Yeah.
high line. It's not as high as Barcelona's high line, but it is also because the front three is pressing.
Hmm.
So come on, Kylian Mbappe, there has been something, and we there has been something which has been unleashed, and we can see it in big games. I think the biggest test we have, I feel, is going to be Liverpool. Liverpool is when I think it's in say because the next two games are what say Atleti and there's one team in the Champions League. Atleti don't look so good so far. Uh, but yeah, Kylian Mbappe today, two goals, you can't complain. Really good finish for the second one. Penalty well earned. The team is playing through his strengths. He's pressing. So yeah, overall, no complaints.
100%. I mean, Mbappe just looks like, he has a point to prove. Like Vinicius, I mean, these guys are really, really, really on it. But I really, really hope that, you know, some of the glaring weaknesses that they possess, that I'm pretty sure top sides would, sink their teeth into. They should be they should be brilliant enough to rise above it. That's my only thing. Like many of the other fans who might be thinking like me, let's not get carried away until, like you said, Liverpool, the Barcelonas, Juves come up, and yeah, we look a lot more confident. But this game, I'm pretty sure, I'll if we do have a good season, I'll really, really remember the trip to Valencia facing newly promoted Levante, and how we handled the occasion and really played some brilliant, brilliant stuff. Quickly, Alvaro Carreras said, won possession 16 times tonight, the most of any Madrid defender in a single match since Ramos in 2019, playing at centre back today. I think he looked excellent. I don't think he lacked positional awareness. I mean, it's unfortunate for the goal, but in totality, I think he looked really, really comfortable. Maybe from an occasional misstep in the first 10 minutes. He looks like a player that is super versatile and so well rounded that he can fill in multiple roles within the same system.
Man, like Carreras, so Real Madrid, obviously, whenever we talk about great players coming to the club, their ability to play well and excel sometimes at different positions. Today we saw that. And the
Mm,
stat you read is astounding. 16 times to win back possession. And the way he passes the ball, the way he progresses it forward, finds those gaps in, breaks those lines. So the pass to Vinny Jr., right?
yeah.
For Mastantuono's goal. Look at it again. The way the ball is played to him, I think it
Mm-hmm.
was Carreras who played it to him. That
I
makes
don't remember.
that makes Vinny's job super easy, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, and if a player like that who can play to the strengths of your teammates,
Yeah.
and anyways, we heard that after one of the fan camps, one of these fans, they really said that Alvaro Carreras is the some signing of the summer so far.
Mm,
And these are huge statements to make by fans who have been watching football for 10, 15 years with their
yeah.
hard-earned money or their parents' hard-earned money at the stadium.
Mm,
So people who have seen different generations play and they make these kind of statements.
yeah.
That's when you're like, yeah, they might have a point because see,
Mm,
strikers will be judged by goals. You
mm,
know, Florian Wirtz kind of a player would be judged by goals and assists. The judgment criteria for a defensive player is very different.
mm-hmm.
And Carreras
Yep.
looks like he has filled a void that has existed post Marcelo offensively and defensively. Defensively
Mm,
was covered by Falan Mendy in a way, but offensively, what I like so far about him is the way he combines with Vinny and Rodrigo. Combining with Vinny is kind of, not the easiest things because you have to cover way too much. But when you have to combine with Rodrigo, it's a different kind of a position that you have to uh, take on the wings.
mm.
So, and defensively, he looks solid. Offensively, he looks strong. So, man, touch wood so far. I think two really good signings that nobody saw coming that would make direct impact. Mastantuono and Carreras.
I mean, these stats look for really, really, happy reading, man. I mean, Alvaro Carreras against fullbacks in the top five leagues. First in
Yeah, yeah.
interceptions, first in touches, first in short passes. first in passes into the final third. I do think he is a real asset. Paired alongside Dean Howson, he really sets us up for success with his overall game. But yeah, offensively, I still find Alvaro Carreras not much of an improvement over Fran Garcia. Although the season is still long, it's super early. But yeah, we will have to see, because I remember this chance he had in this game. He ran the hard yards. He got into the box. He should have just have shot, man. Like he waited for Vinicius and Mbappe to make themselves available and lay the ball off. We need that kind of. We need a fullback like that who is a Theo Hernandez, who is a Marcelo, who is a bit more daring to really take the shot and blend in basically. And we'll need
Mm,
Alvaro Carreras to provide us some attacking output, like a definitive attacking output. He helps our attack a lot, but definitively he needs to add that to his game. I think that's the only thing lacking from Alvaro Carreras, because I thought he would struggle a bit. Given his size, although Levante isn't really an aerially imposing side, I did think that Alvaro Carreras would look a bit out of touch, out of his depth at centre back, but I think he did really well, which goes to show, man, this guy, he knows what he's about. Um,
yeah, and also I remember against Osasuna and one more game,
mm,
there were times where the ball was crossed into the box and probably cleared by the keeper or one of the center defenders. And I remember Vini or Rodrigo, both of them were not in the box, but Carreras, I saw him in the 6 yard box. And I was
mm,
like, so he is ready to make cover those positions, because in
mhm.
this team, I don't think you have to cross the ball a lot. You'll
No, no,
have to
no,
have
no.
those, yeah. So I have seen him take, say, if I'm remembering correctly, like if I
Even
have to,
tonight, like I think he was in the center forward spot for a minute.
yeah. So
When
he's
we
not,
when we were transitioning. Mm.
so he's not shying away to do that. Let's see if the explosiveness can lead to something. But so far, so good. So
Yeah,
far, so good. Nothing to criticize. Not given. There's no room for criticism so far.
Carreras. Yeah, Carreras is I think one of the first names from the team sheet right now. Long may it continue, man. Long may it continue. And yeah, I'm not even sure when Felan Mendy is back, but yeah, like I have a soft spot for Mendy, so I really hope we get to see him as well. But the way Alvaro Carreras is playing, yeah, nobody can really touch that left back spot. But yeah, man, let's get into a few of the comments before we slowly start to wrap things up. Uh, Madrid TV was mentioning, what a performance! Pick up yourself, man. Sent Benfica another 100 million for Carreras. What a player! Um, I agree with it. I didn't expect him to be such a difference maker, because I'll be honest, I haven't watched him much. I've seen maybe a couple of his Champions League performances, but he has been really, really one of those pleasant surprises. Ashik was mentioning better performance, but it was Levante. Not happy about the silly goal we conceded. Franco got a goal, excited about it. If you want to play high press, we need Jude. He showed his work rate. Yeah, 100%, man. Jude is a guy who puts himself about. If we have Jude on the pitch, we know that he's going to do the pressing, do the man marking, do everything that we need to prevent danger. He basically has the workload of two people. That's what I'm insinuating. Like, he is someone that makes us play at a much higher level than when he's off the pitch. Um, yeah, don't worry. We'll be visiting Benfica in January for Mourinho and Carreras reunion. But Carreras is an academic product. We don't owe anyone anything. Um, yeah, he
Carreras,
also gone.
Carreras was also part of Manchester United. So Eric Ten Hag was the one who
Oh,
sent him
okay.
to Benfica. Yeah. So Carreras is a United. If I'm not wrong, he's a United graduate. Was sent to Benfica and kind of shows what kind of a bad manager Ten Hag was, where you have when you sign Malacia and
Mm.
obviously Luke Shaw is there and not there at the same time, and you don't. Maybe they didn't see the potential of Carreras. So
Yeah. It's also a lot to do with timing as well, just like in life. Transfers and players with clubs, it's a sticky situation. We can't really judge. Um, but Ashik was mentioning better performance from Vinny. He still has the habit of just running all the way to the byline, and then we go nowhere and holds the ball too long. Arda was solid, but he goes on the wing. He is not a right winger. Um, yeah, I agree with that. Vinicius, I mean, he's a winger, man. Wingers tend to do that way too often. They like to really, drive down the line. But yeah, Vinicius is looking like he's getting back to where he left off last year. Um, yeah, he was also reiterating, Saturday is the true test. We'll not get open spaces like this. Yeah, Levante looked too out at sea, way too much. I mean, that's what cost them the game against Barcelona as well. When I saw them, they looked so promising, took the lead, and then boom, they just crumbled, under the pressure, under the weight of keeping a lead against the big dogs. But yeah, they're not one of the worst sides or the worst sides in the league. They're a promising outfit. They look to play some good stuff. So respect, man, more respect to Levante for sure. They also, had a couple of chances for Vinicius. A Barlow, their player. They
Yeah.
weren't really keen on him coming back after what he did the last time he was there. Came off the bench and basically kickstarted his Real Madrid career all over again back in 22. So he paid them back, danced on them. So satisfying,
Man,
satisfying.
I love things like that. This is what makes
Mm.
sport. I always say, like, with the recent experiences, there are two kinds of football fans. One who like enjoy the Klopp Guardiola love story, and then there's one who enjoys Conte fighting with Tuchel and the handshake getting. I'm the second. I want drama, man. I
Yeah, yeah,
want
for
drama.
sure,
I want fire.
for
I
sure.
want ego. I want tantrums, and you back it up, man. Like, there's
Yeah,
nothing like a football player saying that, I'm gonna do this, and then he does that. So it's a
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but we need the narratives. We need the masala, right? Like we need
no,
it. We need
I
it. Um, yeah, random guy was mentioning 7 out of 7. Big up yourself. He was mentioning 7 out of 7. Good going. 7 games, 7 different formations, 7 wins. Xabi Alonso. Yeah, that's. I think that's the most intriguing thing. Sid touched upon that very well earlier on. Every game looks like, yeah, it's a completely different setup. It looks like there is at least uh, something to look forward to. That is, a bit exciting. Like I don't know if it's just the honeymoon phase or the start of a new era that makes me feel like that. When I saw Vinicius, Rodrigo, and Jude Bellingham together for the last 10 minutes, I was like, "Holy shit, this is it!" But then Rodrigo's skies won over. It broke my heart, kind of. But yeah, like this new era has a lot of optimism, a lot of positivity like that. I just hope it clicks together and we can do something special this year. Yeah, he also mentions it's gonna boost Franco's confidence by 10 times the goal. Franco is good with passing, helps with chance creation, good with defensive support and pressing. He was close to scoring many times and finally got his goal. Great for him. Yeah, if you remember, like he had a shot, a few minutes before that, which was just a couple of inches wide. A good caller. He has a good shot on him, and I'm really happy that there are people. Maybe it's because he's too young. I just fear for some of the guys who come into our side. They show all this bravado and they lose it along the way sometimes. When things don't go your way, when his missed shot probably costs a game, you lose a bit of that fearlessness from players. I've seen it over the years, 10, 15 years watching my club. I just hope Franco Massantono is someone who is gonna rise above stuff like that. Um, um, right. There's a few here. Um, Yeah, Ashik was mentioning Cristiano threw tantrums. So you guys are saying Vinny is at the level of Cristiano. You're joking, right? Vinny became too comfortable under Carlo, where he played even when he had run of bad games. I mean, there is no comparison to make. But you know, I've said
Mm.
this before as well. When Cristiano was at his pomp, maybe until La Decima, right? Like I used to get really annoyed at. I think after the knee injury he suffered in 2014, he became a lot more matured. I think not just by his age. I think the injury just made him reconsider a lot of stuff. And I think, yeah, appreciate a lot of things that he didn't probably before, because he used to be really whiny before that. And although he was the big dog, he was the top man. He was a talisman. I used to get really annoyed by his tantrums and his overall demeanor. Cristiano, I'll be very honest, and that's how I feel with Vinny as well. But I do think people needs to give these kind of characters
Man,
a bit of time
man,
to mature. Mm,
the thing is, we're not comparing Vinicius and Cristiano, but we are comparing the trait of how players can be reactive
mhm,
to get the best out of them and to get the best out of from the team. Like if throwing a tantrum, getting booed can lead to a goal scoring by Vinicius Junior to beat him if that's motivates him. People who
mhm.
have expectations in life, people who work hard, have the right to react. And I am not saying that Vinny is on the level of Cristiano.
But
I
but
mean, very.
I'll caveat that with one thing though. You can react. It shouldn't be at the cost of costing your side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
can react. Yeah.
The whole idea is to make it better for you, for the team, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like there is no, and it's I am not wrong in saying that Vinny has earned that right to be that. Maybe you
Hmm.
not, you maybe you don't like people who throw tantrums. That's your preference, And Vinicius Junior doesn't give a shit about what you think. It's as simple as that. He is ready to fight. He
Mm.
has scored big goals, given big performances. Yeah, I'm not saying I am a fan of his antics or his attitude, but Vinny Jr. is a player. Come on, he has earned that right to demand things from people in his team for himself.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, where else do you have a team where a Ballon d'Or player, like the season you're about to win a Ballon d'Or, which you did not, but you get Kylian Mbappe next to you. Usually when people like that have, it's like, say, Dembele won, like the Ballon d'Or last season and
No, I get
PSG
it. I
next
get it.
season.
It's a power move from the club. It's a power move, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's quite natural that he gets intimidated by all that, right? It makes him
yeah,
second guess what his position is within the club, and how much is he
yeah.
valued, and especially
Man,
considering what he has done for the club, right, in
yeah,
recent history.
it's
Um,
human psychology, man. Insecurity, limelight. See, that's the thing, all these things will be accepted till the time you're working and
mm,
getting goals.
yeah.
Remember, like say, I'm just quoting Cristiano's example. Cristiano is my favorite player for what he did on the pitch, you know. But that one season at Man United, where after a family problem, personal problem, he had a dip in form. Remember the criticism? And people, that is when I
Yeah.
realized you say and you back it up, people won't say anything. The moment you stop, and it's the same fans who wouldn't have said anything if Vinicius Junior led Real Madrid to a La Liga last season.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
You,
I
you were
mean, yeah,
worshipping
yeah.
Vinny Jr. when he's scoring goals in Champions League finals, and then suddenly you're a hater. It's a
Mm.
you
I
need
mean,
to question.
people were still annoyed with his attitude, even when he was
Yeah,
doing things. So that's there's that. But let's move on. Let's move on. Ashik has his opinion. I also used to be really, really against what Vinny does. When he isn't really concentrating on his job, that is, win his games. But I think he has improved a lot. He still has bits of that in him. Uh,
man, he
but I'm
got
pretty sure.
benched.
Oh yeah, oh
Tell me
yeah.
the yeah. So it's it's all about preferences.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
and it's if the club really wanted to make money and sell him, the club
Hmm.
then wouldn't have put a release clause of like a 500 or a 1 billion clause that he has.
Yeah, yeah.
It,
Random guy
yeah,
mentions here, the thing with Vinny is he's world class, but his services come with baggage of headaches. Manager always has to keep Vinny's head calm and focused more towards the game. Let's not go there. Like this is still early days in the season, and let's hope we have a lot of positive things to say about Vinicius come January, February, because this surely has kickstarted Vinicius's 25, 26. Sid, can you text Sahil? You know, um,
yeah,
because we'll be wrapping up quickly. But yeah, what else? Random guy was mentioning Benfica fans already had high praises for Carreras before he joined Madrid. I mean, yeah, I read that a lot, even from the neutrals, that he is really good. But then I also, read contrasting reports, especially on Twitter, who said, he is quite mid. Probably they might be, really, really looking at what he brings offensively. I mean, people can't really be the next, Davies, who was a winger who turned into a wing back, or Marcelo, who can really, turn it on the dime every time he, plays. So yeah, that was my concern with Carreras, but what he brings to the table so far as a package is invaluable, no doubt. Um, right, Ashik was mentioning Di Stefano first Madrid goal September 23rd,
yeah.
1953, and Franco's first Madrid goal September 23rd, 2025. Both signed from River Plate. I mean, that's a crazy coincidence. That's
River
insane.
Plate.
What was that?
River Plate.
River Plate. My bad, my bad, my bad. we used to always call it River Plate, but a random guy was mentioning Carreras is actually good in attack and shooting as well, but situation in Madrid is Xavi himself has not confirmed his attack yet. He is still making many changes in that area.
Xavi has not confirmed in midfield and defense either. So,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. This is completely a setup in progress. Ashik was mentioning Carreras was a Madrid academy player from 17 until 20. Um, yeah, Ashik was mentioning, he didn't recognize that was said, but yeah, man.
no, no, it's fine,
Um,
man. I'm playing a character live on YouTube right now.
Ashik was mentioning Trent is absolutely fine, but then you have to back that up when he throws these fits and gets ejected. It puts the team on the back foot. It doesn't matter what Vinny feels; it costs the team. 100%. I completely back that.
Yeah,
But yeah, we need to basically shelve that conversation for now.
yeah,
We
yeah.
need to back the player. We need to back the player. We need to really, really understand, that he is ready to fight for his place, ready to fight for this team, and do special things with this club, man. This season looks like it has a lot of promise. In the beginning, in the first couple of match days, I wasn't really happy with what I was seeing, but slowly but surely, I'm getting a lot more faith, a lot more belief in this team. I did predict a Champions League win. It's a big if. Let's see if this team can live up to that kind of pressure. But
Mm.
yeah, at least one major trophy is what we want. Anything else, I think, is a massive, massive failure. Go on,
Yeah,
Sid.
I just feel I am not ready to make any conclusions until I see
Mm,
how, what Real Madrid do at Anfield against Liverpool. That is my litmus
mm.
test. I that is
To be
gonna
honest, Sid, like
show.
I've watched Liverpool a few times this season. They don't look that good. They don't.
Yeah, that's the thing. See, they don't look that good. They concede so much, and yet they win.
Oh
So
yeah, for sure.
sometimes,
Okay, I mean,
yeah,
you
yeah,
could
yeah.
could say
So
that. Yeah.
yeah, because what they're like still they're also like 7-7.
Mm-hmm.
So and that the thing is, that's a team that has the front line to outscore you. Whatever defense. Mo Salah today, Isak scored his first goal. Ekiteke looks really good. Cody Gapco can come on the bench. Florian Wirtz not so convinced so far, but for a midfielder, always you have that one season buffer. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
Soboslai looks really good as right back, and the whole team. They also have a really good left back in Kirkesh. So, and
But I still do think they have a mistake in them, and a very big one at that. If we take our chances, the way we
yeah,
control
yeah,
games so far, not the way we did against Marseille,
that's what I'm saying. Liverpool is
Don't
a
say the
team
T
that
word. I
is
mean, Ashik is mentioning it already. Don't say the T word. I hope you know what the T word is, right?
no
Trent.
Trent,
You know,
Trent, the T
if
word.
he starts at Anfield, I can really see, I
Yeah,
can
that's what
really
I'm
see it going
saying.
south. But
Like
yeah.
what I see is like two teams going at each other. It's like John Cena was the Rock at WWE. Like it's gonna go one-on-one, finisher after finisher kind of a game. What I see because, like you said, with our defense, we are still unsure. Can we take
Mm,
it against big teams? I am unsure what are the front, like the back four is.
mm,
And Liverpool is a team that is going to score. You give them half a chance, they have players who can find the back of the net with any acute angle or obtuse angle, whatever you want to call it.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
the- as Atleti, I'm still, it's Atleti will turn up. That was gonna happen, but they don't look convincing, man. Yesterday,
Mm.
they drew against. They've already dropped 14. They've got one victory and two draws this season. Yeah. So I don't know, man. Atleti, I'm not saying it should be easy, but I think the team should get a victory there. They dropped
We
points
should get a
against it.
victory, yeah, under these circumstances. But going away to Metropolitano, I'm never confident. You know,
It's a four
um,
o'clock, 4 o'clock kickoff. I
yeah,
don't know. Usually, I'm not
we
that
should
confident
really,
either, but
yeah, we should really come back with a win because anything else, I do think it really again gives back the onus to Barcelona, who I do think is still the best team or the team to beat in Spain, at least domestically. We should
no,
just keep racking up wins if we need to really, dream of winning this league, man.
yeah,
It'll be
like
massive. It'll be massive. If we do win this, but yeah.
it will be massive. And also, I'm just hoping that what Hansi Flick said right after they drew against Rayo Vallecano.
Hmm.
Egos can destroy a dressing room. And that was a comment that came out Hansi Flick's mouth, and I was like, oof, some
What
things
do you
are
mean by that?
happening. I think, in my understanding, I think he was saying that people have to start prioritizing the team again. You
Mm.
can't be looking
But
at
maybe he was talking
it.
about the likes of Lewandowski, yeah.
Lewandowski, Lamine. There are not
Oh
Spanish
yeah,
media. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There
yeah.
were a
Mm.
lot of rumors about Lamine, man, and how
Yeah.
he obviously finished runners up to the Ballon d'Or and whatever, but yeah, he's still not there. Yeah, he's probably one of the best players in the world. Like I enjoy watching Lamine Yamal play, but sometimes you have to understand you're not there yet. You're not Messi yet. You're not Cristiano yet. You're not
Yeah.
even Vinny or Mbappe yet. You won one La Liga, which is fine,
Hmm.
but
Yeah.
so, man, I would love to explore. I would love to be that fly on the wall to hear what he's talking about. Like, oh, man, because Flick has a lot of balls. He benched Rashford for the last game because he was 2 minutes late to a meeting. 2 minutes.
Hmm. Yeah.
So
I heard that. I heard
and
that.
and Flick is very German. Germans are not expressive, but they say it as it is. You've seen it
Yeah.
with Tony Kroos. You've seen it with Heinkes. You've seen it with like Thomas Muller, not shying away from calling things on social media. So I didn't see that comment coming. After especially winning a domestic treble for Barcelona last season. So
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, I think it remains to be seen. How can we really go up against Barcelona? I mean, they might have the internal turmoils, but every time they take field to play, a Liga game, I think they're favorites, and that's the one thing that really bugs me. They have a tremendous record domestically, and they have had it for the entirety of my lifetime. Maybe bar a couple of good seasons where we looked like the team to beat. Apart from that, it was always Barcelona sleeping and us capitalizing. It's
Um,
about time we take over the mantle. But big up everyone in the
uh,
chat. Big up people tuning in later on as well. I think this post match has gone for far too long. We decided to keep it short, but I think the conversation was
it's,
pretty deep. We delved into a lot of stuff,
uh,
right, Sid?
it's the company.
Oh yeah, for sure. The company as well. I mean, we delve into a lot of stuff that we don't usually go into. But yeah, feel free to show love to Sid, man. He and the boys are really working hard. Every match day, at the Bernabeu, I think you guys will be there, right? After the derby as well, on Saturdays. So stay safe
Yeah.
and send in your prayers for Sid. Hope he makes it out
Mm.
in one piece after the game, especially if we win.
That
Um,
should be good. It's a 4 o'clock kickoff. Sun is out. It's a little getting a little colder here, but should be good. Doesn't seem. I think the government of community of Madrid is actually because of the last, the history of the controversy and the mannequin getting hung and the fights and everything, the racism last game, the racism pause that happened, so
mm,
the government is going way too hard, and it's like English football. English football, if Liverpool, Man United always play at 11:30 or 12:30 early afternoon, so that people don't get drunk. And their late kickoff is like a 6:30, 7:30 kind, not like 9:30 in Spain. So the government is, trying to make it safer because there are a lot of people. Yeah, I don't know if I should say this, but there are so many tourists who are going to games rather than people who have been going to games. And it's not only
mm,
Real Madrid either, because Madrid as a city has so much to offer with respect to football. Um, yeah,
yeah.
and people who want a ticket, you can reach out, text us. I have one ticket. I'm ready to cash in on that, cash in my money in the bank on that if somebody is interested.
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, if people need a ticket, I mean, they can DM us on the page, but it'll be on the Atleti end, right? It'll be on the Atleti end. But yeah, man, we should do Sahil a favor. He has been driving for the last 8 hours and he's waiting for us to wrap this up. But yeah, man, big up Sahil for stepping in last minute to make this post match happen. Big up Sid for keeping me company. Big up our sponsors as always. Go check out Talksport and Fanatics. Links are in the description below. Look out for the preview. Hopefully, Thursday or Friday. It'll be a fun one. I am looking to see if Jacob can be back for it because this guy he has been dodging my messages for quite too long. But I completely understand. He has had commitments. But yeah, boys. I hope we come back Saturday for the post match with renewed belief and yeah, something to really relish about. Winning away at the Metropolitano will be really really special for this young Xabi Alonso side. But yeah, boys. Until next time. Ala Madrid.
Until next time, big ups on it too.
All right.